Hi, welcome back. Rick Hart with Big Communications. Now we've talked about how the paradigm has changed, and now instead of going out fishing for new customers, what you really need to do is understand that the customer is in charge and they're the ones doing the fishing, and you have to figure out how to get caught. So let's talk about the different tactics you can use for getting caught by your customers. First of all, question is where to get caught, and the most obvious one is Google because that's the place where people are searching to solve their problems. So that's the best number one place to be in terms of getting caught using the new paradigm. Another important places these days are all those social media sites, including Facebook, where more and more and millions of people are present. And another place that people don't often think about quite as much is online directories. Places like Yellow Book, Yellow Pages, Merchant Circle, LinkedIn, etc. are all places where people are meeting and people are searching for products and services. So yes, those are other places that we want to make sure we have a presence. Again, so how do we get caught? We need to have an online presence. And the first thing that comes to mind is to build a website. But unless you have a strategy to drive traffic to that website, it's just going to be lost in the ozone. So the question is, how do we connect with those search engines and Facebook and directories? And, again, what we've done is that when we build a website, we say, oh, that's what we need to do and that's where we need to be. The problem is we're thinking that if we just build that website, people are going to find it. But it doesn't work that way. And your website ends up looking like this, lost in the middle of the desert, with no one finding it. So we really need to have a strategy for being found. So the question becomes, how do you drive traffic to your website? And what are the tactics you use to connect with Google in particular? And it brings us back to how do search engines work? They're the 800-pound gorilla again, and they control our destiny. So we need to understand how to please them, because that's the goal in all of online marketing, is pleasing the search engines so they give us high ranking. Now, Google's was not the first search engine. It came along a few years later. First ones were in '93, and Google wasn't even found until '98. It took a couple of years after that before they actually became dominant. And the question becomes, why did they win? How come they became the most used search engine? And as simple as this: they have the best results, and that means that they have the most relevant results to the search keyword that someone's using. And remember, they're trying to please that searcher. That's their main customer. If they don't please that searcher won't be back. So that's their whole reason for being and their goal in everything they do. But they don't make money that way. They make money from advertisers, and the reason advertisers pay Google money because that's where the searchers are. That's where that connection can be made. That's where they can be caught. So again, that's why how Google makes money is through their advertisers. And remember that the reason that they have won and the result of them winning is that now 70 or 80% of all searches are done on Google or some Google search partner. So again, they are that 800-pound gorilla, and we have to please them, number one. That's all our strategies should be based on pleasing them. And that means we need to understand keywords. Keywords are what all the search engines use to determine the relevancy of a website. So this is the heart of all search engine marketing. And it's not just one word, it's a phrase. And it could be 1, 2, 3, 5, as many words as it takes for a searcher to find what they're looking for. So when Google analyzes a website, it looks for the keywords on the website to determine the relevance to the search term people are actually using. So the bottom line is, from a marketer's point of view, is that these keywords indicate a searcher's intention. So as a business owner, what kind of intention are you looking for? And of course that means you're looking for buying intention. You're not looking for folks that are just looking for information and tire clickers. You're looking for folks that are really want to buy something. So that means that some keywords are better than others from a marketer's point of view, and targeting the right keywords is an important part of your online marketing strategy. Now, here's something to understand too. How does Google see a site, and how do they see the keywords on a website? Because all Google can see is the HTML code, the hypertext markup language code. They don't see things like pictures or videos. They're looking under the hood, so to speak, to try to find the hints that are within the underlying code. So that's what Google does. And within that HTML code are tags. Those are the actual code that Google looks at to see what it can learn about a website. These are things called the title tag, URL of a page, head tags, meta code, meta tags. These are all the kinds of things that Google's looking for as it looks under the hood. And Google gets better at this all the time. It's really trying to figure out, almost like a human would, of what the relevancy of a website or web page is to that search term. So again, Google is constantly updating and changing, so keeping up is a big part of the process. And the bottom line is they're looking for the quality and relevance to that search term. So how does Google go about this? What do they do to be able to analyze a website? First of all, they send out what's called a robot, sometimes called a spider because it crawls the web, to analyze every single website that's out there. They use something called an algorithm, which is a mathematical formula, which is constantly changing, to analyze, all those different parts of the HTML code we talked about to see exactly what that website is about. And they rank according to the relevance of the search term that it finds. And they also adjust to searching behaviors. When you search from a particular location, you may get different results than someone in another location. So again, Google is watching you and what you do to search and trying to fine-tune the results it supplies for you. So your results may be different based on your previous searches, based on your location. So these are all things that Google takes into account as it tries to analyze a searcher and analyze the websites that it wants to present to those searcher as it's developing its results. And again, there's three parts of Google. There's the sponsored link section, which is where the advertisers go. That's AdWords. There's a map section, now called Google Places, where local businesses can show if it's a local search term. And then there's the organic section. That's the place that you work hard to get to because it's free, and it is used to be one of the primary places that people took their results from, but things are changing. So the three parts of Google are the places that you need to understand and where to be. And let's take a look and see exactly what is happening on Google these days. For example, let's put in a search term like Clearwater dentist and see what comes up. Now, what has happened in the last couple of weeks, as of November 2010, is that the results page has changed. What used to be the map section used to be down here, now it's moved to the right, and what's been put in there is a whole bunch of new listings that used to be in the map section listing. So all of these lettered spots are actual local listings from the map section that we just talked about. So what has happened, and this is a big change, is that organic section has been relegated down to the bottom, way at the bottom of the page, and now in this case for this particular search there's only 4 results on this particular page. And it's definitely shows that Google is constantly changing and is putting much more emphasis on local search and local businesses. So again, this search engine's result page of Google is constantly changing. And again, we talked about the sponsored link section. That's here, now called the ad section. Those are the section up here and over here on the right. These are all related to that sponsored link section, and you buy your way into that section. Again, these sections here are the map section, the ones with the lettered lollipops over here on the left, and then down all the way down the bottom. Again, this is the organic section where you optimize to get there. So what does it all mean? And the question becomes, how do we get into these three sections? So let's take a look. That organic section, which is now 5 to 10 spots, you get there by convincing Google you belong there. In other words, you've got to show them that you are relevant to the search term. And that means doing something called search engine optimization. And as we just saw, that section is getting smaller. And the map section is 7 spots on the first page. And you claim your listing. It's free, and it's something anybody can do. But again, you need to optimize yourself to get into that first page, which is only 7 spots, sometimes called a 7-pack, on that first page. So you've got to be able to optimize your listing there in the map section. And finally, the sponsored link section is basically pay-per-click, and you buy your way into that section by buying keywords. And there's a little bit more to it than that, and we'll get into the details. So again, let's stop here, and we'll go into another video in a second where we look much more closely at how we get into each section and exactly what the tactics you would need to use. Thanks for coming, and we'll talk to you in the next video.